Big shift underway into studio. Come on now, I almost said onward and upward, but that is not what's going down now. We're going onward and downward. It is time, everybody. All right, there's the chart. We'll come back to that in a minute. We're going down, everyone. It is very exciting. How's everybody doing? We'll get you the question of the day here in a minute, but yes, the aerobic base building is in the books. I would call it a success with respect to, actually, well, let's just grab it. 110 miles for 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I did not take a down week because, as you know, in the past, if you've been watching the channel, thank you for all the longtime viewers out there, is that I decided to hold back on the volume for this training block. I know 110 is a lot, but for me, historically, it's actually not as much as I usually do. So my legs, I never felt like I was really overreaching. There's definitely moments in the past where I did feel like I was overreaching. So 110 miles, and now we're going down. And actually, let me just pull up Strava here. So we are, as of this recording, in day 71 of 102. If I'm doing the math right, 31 days to go. That is a beautiful thing. And because, you know, sometimes in, week 2, 3, 4, when you're in these high volume weeks and you're like, oh my goodness, you're just putting in the miles. And you know me, I'm putting in a lot of miles and a lot of slow miles. Sometimes it could get, I'll just put it maybe a little tedious, maybe a little cumbersome to the brain, where you just got to fight through those more not so dull. I'll just say sometimes runs that are a little more dull and you're just plodding along. You know me. It can be anywhere from 8:45 a mile to 9:45 a mile. So that is complete, and now we are going fast. The pivot is on, and let's do it. Question of the day: do you make a big pivot in your training block? If you do, explain how, where it's a distinct shift from one phase to the next phase. If not, that's totally okay. I know plenty of people that don't train like I train. And I realize I confuse so many people out there, and I don't want to bring confusion to your life. But I just see your comments on YouTube, on Strava especially, where you're just curious. Why is Seth running so darn slow? All right, and here's the situation. First of all, I'm 39, I'm not 29, and I'm definitely not 19 anymore. So that's part of it. And as a higher volume type of runner, I just got to monitor the old legs. The legs, they bark at me, even at 110 miles, when in the past, I can go 120, I can go 140. I've done 140 in the last 18 months, and it'll bark at you. So I am very conscious of my legs when I'm out there training, but I'm also conscious of the aerobic base building, as I stressed so many times here in the studio, in this training block, getting ready for Jersey City, which is April 13th. And yes, we will be doing group runs in Jersey City. I'll let you know the details soon enough, but at the end of the day, it's done. The aerobic base building is done, and last week we made the shift. So here's the last 2 weeks. I've been doing this throughout the training block, where I explain the training, just boom, soak it in, hit pause, analyze, break it down, and I'm trying to fit as much information as possible onto the screen, so I know it's a little hard to read, but just kind of take it in. I'll let it marinate on the screen for a second, okay? This is the shift. This is the pivot. This is, look at the total volume. Look at the how slow I was in week number, let me just pull it up on my calendar here, week number 8, I believe. All right, I believe that was week number 8, going into week number 9, and then boom. All right, 3 workouts in 1 week. Monday, Wednesday, actually not Friday, because you know me, tip of the day. It was icy, it was cold, it was windy on Friday. So I talked to True Love and I said, True Love, I don't like doing workouts on the weekends. Could I make a pivot? So we did a little exchange as far as time allotment on my Saturday. So I actually did the second threshold on Saturday versus Friday. It just, and it was perfect. All right, so threshold number 1 on Monday, there you go. It was 5:19 a mile, I do believe, for 4 miles. And I explained this last week. The threshold pace is going to stay the same, but the distance is going to increase as we get closer to race day on April 13th. So it's pushing out that distance, getting the body and the mind used to running fast for longer distances, not necessarily whereas versus the long runs, which the last long run was 23 miles at, hold on, 6:13 a mile. Not too shabby. I'm very pleased with that considering I started off, I had to go back and look, but I started off, I guess 6 weeks prior at 7:52 a mile, roughly 7:50 a mile for my first long run, 23 miles. And I was able to bring it down over those 6 weeks down to 6:13. So the shift is on, and then the first workout, I explained this again last week, but I'll just put it on the screen. The title, it was nothing wild. Really what it was I definitely was going anaerobic, but the real goal was fast twitch muscle recruitment. Okay, that was the real goal of this ladder workout on the track. And it was, I won't go into detail because I already talked about it last week, but if you want to go back and watch that vlog, upper right-hand corner. And then again, Saturday, I pushed the distance out to 5 miles for the threshold. And I also talked I know it's a lot of if you missed the vlogs last week, you got to go watch them, but I talked about how to calculate your personal threshold pace. If you're interested in doing a threshold run, I explained it in the vlog. I believe it was last Tuesday or Wednesday. So onward and upward. I know that was short and sweet. This is life. We're progressing. It's, as you can tell, I'm very excited to make this pivot. The shift is on, and I know I confuse people, but just know that there is a thought process and strategy behind how I train. So I am running faster as a 39-year-old than I was at 29, by far, easily. And it's more volume, slower running, 80 to 90% of the time, but I'm not afraid to throw down 5:14 a mile for 5 miles, like I did last on Saturday. So it's that black and white training. It's all in and then all out. All in. It's easy days easy, hard days hard. It's just how I was raised. There's no other way to say it. It's how I was raised in training and how I have some running books over there. How I've taught myself over the years through the running books and through the coaches I've worked with in the past. So, and that's where you just gotta be patient finding the coaching and the training that works for you. This type of training is definitely not gonna work for everybody. I just put it out there. So you gotta find what works for you, and it might take you 2, 3, 4, 5, hopefully not 10 years, but it could take you 3 or 4 years to find the train. Okay, this works, this doesn't work, etc., etc. All right, onward we go. I'll toss it to, I guess I'll do maybe the first track workout last week. Right there. All right, we'll see you soon. Seek beauty, work hard, and love each other.